Like when you're doing a tour, you're away up here. When you're sleeping in the street, you're away down here.
I'm going to take you guys on a tour today.
Originally the statue was facing the grave, but a student bus driver knocked it over and whoever put it back up put it facing the wrong way.
This here, guys, is my great-great-great-great-granddad. He's not really. It felt like I was a tour guide anyway in Edinburgh, so I used to show people about all the time and just straight up, pal. Just straight up.
The tour has given me, well, confidence first and foremost. It also gives me something to be proud of as well. Elsie Angles trained as a doctor in the Glasgow School of Medicine and the Edinburgh School of Medicine. Elsie was very kind and she would often waive the fees of her poor patients. I should mention that Elsie was heavily involved in the women's suffrage movement.
Through doing the tours and public speaking and stuff, it's got me being confident again. Mad Mackenzie's tomb. Mad Mackenzie was a king's advocate. Somebody broke into it a couple of years ago and tried to dig up his skeleton. And they got put in prison for it. I've probably done about 50 tours maybe. The biggest tour I've done, about nearly 70 people, I think it was about 67. A mixture of American and Canadian tourists. During the tour, people asked me like how long I was homeless for and did I ever take drugs and drink alcohol, things like that. So I just try and be honest with them as much as I can and tell people what my life was like at the time and how it is now.
What answer would you give?
Well, I used to be addicted to heroin, so it wasn't very good at the time when I was homeless.
From my experience, homeless is being in a hostel. That's how I was homeless, being in hostels and bed and breakfast and not having a stable address. I was only sleeping rough for a few days. I slept rough and it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It was horrible. I was at the lowest I've ever been in my entire life.
Well, I was on the streets maybe for about 2-3 months or so. Sleeping in car parks and graveyards, things like that. It's lonely and it's dark and it can be quite scary as well. I
think it's quite scary out there for a homeless woman because some men can be really creepy to them. And it's embarrassing because sometimes you can't fix your hair, like be clean all the time and have nice clothes and things like that. I felt like invisible. People look through you instead of at you.
Being homeless, it can get very lonely when you're just walking about your cell all the time. So it's good to talk to people. Because sometimes you can go like nearly a full day without speaking to somebody.
How's that?
Very boring and isolated and horrible.
I think being the center of attention, being the person who takes you on the tour, then all of a sudden changes that and people care and want to hear your story and they want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I've got my fingers crossed for them, good luck. And I think it's very important for them to do the training and do these tours to give women and homeless women a face and a voice. Back in 2010, I was made homeless due to a violent relationship. My relationship was very abusive and I gave my house up due to him harassing me and I lost custody of my children. If you want to look at that purple door, that is the DTTO, which stands for Drug Treatment Testing Order. And then I met my current partner and we just started taking drugs. So then I was homeless and taking drugs. As our habits developed, we started shoplifting to fund our habits. Inevitably, I was arrested and sent to court and I was sentenced to DTTO. And I tell them that's what changed my life and that's why I'm standing here today and all that. During the order, I fell pregnant with my daughter Charlotte, so this further helped me to change my ways. I completed the order and the judge congratulated me and I haven't took heroin since. I always get a round of applause. It's emotional, every time.
Showing like projects that help people and that, I think it gives people in the public a bit more understanding of a homeless person's life and a bit more sympathy in that for them. people.
When I see Sunny or Biffy sharing their stories and being so confident and laughing away with random tourists from California, I feel really happy.
How do you feel now?
100 times better. I've got a house now, I've got a job, and life's a lot better.
I'm glad I've had that experience, because it's made me a strong person. It's made me be able to tell this story to people, whoever wants to listen. It's made me a strong young woman. Well, I just applied to go to college. I've got my own wee house now, which I love. I've got a wee doggy. Oh, he's so gorgeous. I love him. I'm very hopeful for the future. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next.